audio and video muted. And any questions you want to put, please put it on the chat box or raise your hand so that we'll address to that. And we'll just start a session in a few minutes. Okay. A very good morning and a warm welcome to all for the IEEE WIE chapter, that is Women in Engineering chapter at RMS Ramaya Institute of Technology on a webinar, Coping with the Fear of Failure. The main aim of this webinar series is basically looking into various aspects of the challenges faced, and we have got speakers who will be basically talking about how the change can happen and how we can benefit from that. In this aspect, we have with us Professor Dr. Usha Ishwaran as a speaker for today's webinar. And I now request Ananya, the IEEE WIE Student Execom member, to introduce the speaker to the participants. Ananya, over to you. Ananya?
Oh, sorry, ma'am. I don't know, it was a technical issue. Good morning, everyone. Hi, ma'am. Yeah. Dr. Usha Ishwaran is a motivational speaker, entrepreneur, educationalist, and a life skill coach. She's also a career guidance analyst. She has over 30 years of experience, has addressed 20 lakh people, trained and placed 10,000 students, and counseled 1 lakh people. In addition to this, she is a CEO of organization Seek. Seek is engaged in skill development, career development, guidance, and academic consultancy, which is aimed at enhancing the employability of the youth of our nation in line with our Prime Minister's vision. Dr. Usha Ishwaran is an alumnus of Annamalai and Andhra University with bachelor's and master's degree in electronics and instrumentation engineering. She was awarded her doctorate by Jawaharlal Technology University, Hyderabad, for her pioneering work on biosensors in the year 2011. She is a chartered engineer, fellow of Institution of Engineers India, fellow of Indian Society for Technical Education ISEC, IEEE member in addition to being a member of the editorial team of over 10 international technical journals for reviewing technical papers that are presented for publications. Her experience in technical education has been recognized through her nomination to the advisory boards of various technical institutions of higher learning. She is currently a member of Planning Board of Thiruvalluvar University, Vellore, having been nominated by Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu for 3 years. We are honored to have you with us today, ma'am. Over to you.
Thank you, Ananya. Can I share my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Am I visible? Am I audible? I'm not
Yes,
seeing.
ma'am. You're audible and visible.
I'm unable to see.
Oh, 1 sec, ma'am.
Okay, shall we start?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay. So, very good morning to one and all present here. I'm very happy to be part of this webinar. And I should first of all thank the organizers for choosing this wonderful topic, because this is sought by each and everyone in this world, entire universe. No one would say that I don't want to know how to cope up with fear of failure, because this is there attached to every one of us in all of our lives. And can I have some chat from the audience? How many of you are having this fear that you may fail?
What do I say?
Put some nice descriptions so that speaker at least starts talking about it.
What do I
Say
say?
something just quickly. Like a lot of the like Indian literature stuff is always self-started, associated with it.
More of no. Many a times.
Especially if I'm trying something else.
Can I have participants?
Yeah, especially
Just type down in the chat that you
I am
here.
trying something for the first time. First time. I always have the fear of failure. When I'm trying something for the first time, I always have the fear of
For the other audience, they can't chat.
failure.
Participants can at least put in the chat box.
Okay, I think. Okay, let me share my screen. Is that okay? Is my screen visible? Ananya?
Yes, it's visible, Usha.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We can see it.
Okay, let us start. I think you people don't want to reveal that you fear for failure, but I would appreciate, even if you fear for failure, you should undergo failure in order to meet success. By the end of this webinar, I think every one of you can understand the value of failure, value and the amount of basement it is going to give you for success. So this is Usha Ishwaran. Already Ananya has given a very good introduction about me. And today we are going to see some of the topics like talk about not only failure, like let us also understand what is success and what we fear for, like what is the fear means what, and how to face your fear and what is focus. And also you need to take risk. And I will also be talking about the mindset, what a winner you need to have, and also tips to overcome fear of failure. I'm going to give you 24 tips, which is going to help you a lot. And also how to boost your self-confidence, because self-confidence is very, very important part in overcoming the fear of failure, especially. And also you need to run with your mind and 1% improvement for the day and get into 1 degree more habit. This is what we are going to talk about today. Ananya, I could hear a lot of noise in, can you mute all?
No, ma'am, I'm muted it. I've muted mine. I don't know. I'm hearing a lot of. I think there was a cross connection. I think.
Okay.
I'll just check it out.
Okay. So failure, actually we have heard from a lot of movies and a lot of inspirational speakers saying that failure is not an option. But you may even say it to yourself before a big task. We all know that it does not mean failure is not a possibility. It means something is so important that failure is unthinkable, and the intended effects to build focus and determination. But it's not a mantra for life. But actual truth is failure is always an option. Sometimes it is a requirement. Without it, there is no success. So don't run away from failure. Actually, it is required. Only then you will be learning a lot and you will become more and more successful in your future. So I will be explaining you what is failure and what is success, what people think about it, and how it is in real life, and how to overcome if at all you have some fear of failure, because the fear of failure will not allow you to try anything new. That is the biggest problem. So we need to overcome this fear of failure, and we will also know about the difference between what you do with that fear, how to convert that into an opportunity, and also what it does to you. The problem is that when people hit rock bottom, they lose overview of the possibilities. Actually, they are 100% focused on the problem. That is the main issue that makes you get the fear of failure, and you don't succeed and you don't proceed with attempting something new. That is the main problem, because we always focus on problems. So that is what we need to understand, how to divert, how to convert this fear into an opportunity. And as it is where you put your focus, there you will find your answer. So if you put your focus only on the problem, then you will not be able to understand how to come out of it. So you need to focus on the solution for the problem. That is what is the ultimate mantra. So what is success? It's very, very difficult to explain this term success, because it means a lot and it means different things to everyone. Every one of us have a different definition for success. So what is easier to describe here is what is not success. That will be easier for me, because success and failure are not black and white. It's very much relative to your perspective. Someone who gets into any college, who is the first person ever in the family, something like a first graduate. So for them, it is resounding success. But meanwhile, someone who has had every opportunity to take advantage of private schooling, family ties, and tutoring, everything is there. And they go in for a vocational school. That means they don't want to go for a professional studies. They are not interested to upgrade themselves. Then they call themselves as a failure, or they have failed. So this is one more thing which we need to understand. Everybody feels like only if we are perfect in something, that means success. This is a myth, actually. Success is not perfection. And also, perfection is a mirage that can prevent you from moving towards success, because you always will be focusing on how to make yourself perfect. There's nothing like perfect. There's nothing like anyone in the world, all of them in the world are perfect. It's not like that. Like, you need to go along with what we achieve. So if you wait until the conditions are perfect, Many people do that. Let Corona get over, let the COVID get over, let me come out of the house, then I will start doing something. So we have heard everybody, whomever I speak to, they will say like, once this gets over, I will start my work. So you cannot wait for conditions to become perfect. Actually, opportunities will simply pass you by. And if perfection is the actual goal, then you will never get there and just burn out along the way. You just can't wait for something called as perfection. You cannot expect such a thing in your life. You have to go with what is available, and you need to take up the opportunities, whatever comes, because success is a journey. It is not a destination. No one gets to a point in their life and confidently says, now I'm success. Nobody can say that, because it is only the state. It is not you as a person. You need to understand that this particular activity, you may be successful, but it cannot be a destination for you that you can just relax saying that I'm successful, that is done for me, the enough of my life, I can just sleep and eat and I can spend my life like that. So that is not the meaning of success. You can point to successful moments in your life, but it will never be a state of being. And actually, when we talk about success, it's hard to pinpoint what is success, as I said earlier, but it's easier to know what fosters success. How will you become successful, or how can you achieve anything which you are trying to achieve? So it involves a lot of hard work and a lot of grit and maybe even little luck. Everybody says that he's very lucky. She's very lucky. That is why she is able to succeed. But the luck alone will not give you anything successful, or you cannot achieve anything with just luck. Maybe a part of it, but hard work, the dedication, the perseverance, all these things, and most of all, it takes failure, a lot of failures. So don't fear for failure. Embrace it. If you don't have failure in your life, don't call yourself as a successful person, because you would not have learned anything at all. So you need to understand that failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of success. And one more thing about success is you're not going to find it on Facebook or Instagram. All the teenagers, all these 21st century girls and boys, they feel that if they post a picture or their achievements in the Facebook or Instagram and they get a lot of likes, that is what is success. But those are platforms to make other people think that you're successful. In reality, expending effort to make yourself look Facebook or Instagram fabulous detracts from real success. It just takes you off from the real success. Don't ever fall into the trap. So coming to failure, what is failure? This is another question which cannot be answered, but I can answer you very, very easy to answer, describe what failure is not. So that is easier to explain. Failure is an event and it is not a person. Failure does not define you as a person. Many people get depressed and get into a lot of anxiety, and they take unwanted decisions in their life, just feeling that they are failure. No, it is not. It does not represent a person at all. The person, whoever is trying that particular event, he would have failed, but that does not mean that he himself, the entire life of a person, he is a failure. It's an event. To describe a person as a failure is neglecting to see the totality of that person's life, because life has so many components. Don't ever restrict your life as your personal or a professional, writing an exam, clearing an exam, getting a job, getting a promotion, becoming rich, buying a car. All those things, don't associate that the entire life is focused on only one particular event. There are several things in your life. You would have failed in one particular event. That does not mean that as a whole person, you're a failure. Failure is not falling down. Please take this slide as a very important learning experience for you, because failure allows you to learn. It allows you to make yourself much more better. Actually, I call a person a failure because he fails and he refuses to get up. He refuses to learn from that particular event. So that is what is actual meaning of failure. It is not permanent at all. See, suppose you just imagine you are in your pre-KG. Somebody is making you to learn to write ABCD. Let us start from the basic. And you are taking hundreds, thousands of the times to write A, the first alphabet. And again you fail, you are unable to write. Does that mean that forever you will not be able to write A? That is only for a certain amount of time. Once you practice, once you learn from your failure, definitely you're going to make it. You need to have a hope. And it may feel like it's been a long time since you have circled the bases in the joy of victory. But the day will come. Definitely the day will come where you will succeed. So Michael Jordan is my inspiration. Every time I used to get inspired with him because he had failed many, many times. I have failed over and over, and that is why I succeed. See the words, see the mantra of his success. Because he failed, he says he succeeded because he has learned from all the things whenever he failed. He failed and he understood how he failed, and he should not repeat the same so that in future again he will fail. That is what is the learning one has to pick up. And what is that we learn is going to make you win. Failure as an event is virtually unavoidable on the path of success. Just believe me. Not everybody shares their failure stories, but believe me that every one of us have faced failure. It is unavoidable. It's like getting wet to swim. You will never learn how to swim without getting wet. It's something like that. You need to get into the water, get yourself wet. Then you will learn how to swim. And everyone fails. Believe me, it's not you alone. Every time we feel that only we are getting all these failures. Why me? Everybody feels like I'm the only person who is cursed. I'm the only person who has been failing all the time. No, not at all. Michael Jordan again, I can accept failure. Everyone fails at something, but I can't accept not trying again. Fail, not an issue. Learn from failure. The only man who never makes a mistake is the man who never does anything. If you hear somebody saying that I don't fail in anything, that means that he had not tried anything at all. So that is what is the meaning. And let me tell you about my fear. See, when I was in 8th standard, my passion that I need to talk in front of public. That was, I don't know who was my inspirer, but that was there running in my mind. And I started my venture on a Republic Day in my school, and my dad drafted me a speech. Just believe me, I just went and stood there, and I was not able to talk anything beyond Happy Independence Day. Again and again, I'm just not able to speak anything at all. It was a mere failure. Though I was desperate to talk, I really wanted to do that, but I was not able to do that. So it paralyzed me. I thought I was stupid, and I will never succeed giving the speech for rest of my life. I decided, I told my dad, like, it's just impossible. I'm not going to become a speaker. I'm not going to stand in front of anybody. I just can't speak a word. So that is what is my first sign of resistance. I was not ready to even try. But the thing is, that was the failure which made me to learn how I should not fail again. And if I would have stayed in that mindset, it could have sent me into a spiral of self-doubt and subsequent failures that would have been difficult to recover from. But thankfully, my dad talked some sense into me, and it helped turn things around. I don't have to tell you now that it is a failure which made me to learn what I should not do, and that made me correct all my mistakes. And now I can proudly say that I can address, and I've addressed lakhs of people. I just don't bother about how many people are there in front of me. Either it is a virtual or real, I just don't bother. I don't worry about, I don't fear at all, because I know how I should not fail. I've learned from my failure. So that is what is the ultimate, overcoming the fear of failure. There is a reason no one offers advice on how to overcome failure, because it's not possible, because you have to overcome your failure by on your own experience. You need to learn. That is what is the reframing the failure. Don't look at it as an enemy. It is a friend, actually. Indeed, it is a good friend of us. By just reframing your mindset that I have not failed forever, just for present, I failed in something. So I have hope that I can understand, I can learn from my failure, and I can do better. So this is what is the mantra you should keep telling. Actually, people feel that whenever they get into a failure, they are at the end, dead end. But failure is only a fork in the road. When we experience failure, it is a chance to stop, learn, and try again, or to reassess. Underline this point, whatever I'm telling you, reassess the direction you're headed. Maybe you have not traveled in the right direction. Reassess your direction. Definitely you're going to reach success. And if you look at each failure as a learning experience, you have successfully reframed something dreaded into something valuable. Definitely, if you have a mindset like, yes, now I have failed, let me learn something. Have that habit of attitude that you're going to learn something. You're going to become better than yesterday. You're going to become a better one of your own self. So that is what is the attitude you need to build up. And don't wallow in your failure, and face your failure. They say confidence breeds success. But what breeds confidence? No one is born with self-confidence. Confidence comes from facing up to your fears and overcoming them. See, the person is so confident, believe me, he or she has undergone a lot of failures in their lives. Lot of failures. That makes them become more confident, because they face the failure, they know how to come out of it. So that is what is the attitude. And give words to your fear. It may seem strange, but think about the worst case scenario. In fact, say it out loud. Yes, I have failed. Say it out loud. Go there. When you say it out loud, you will be able to understand the meaning behind it. You will understand where you have failed. And first thing is, you might be able to see failing isn't so bad. Tell again and again where you failed, how you failed. You will start feeling that it is not so bad as I felt it at the first time. And some of the things that will come into your mind will likely not be as terrible as you imagined. See, half of the thing is your imagination. Just imagination. Tell that again and again and again and again. You'll just come out of that fear. And second one is, you might realize that you have some irrational fears. Why do we fear of failures? Why do we hide ourselves from failure from others? Tell me. Because we feel that people will not accept us. People will not talk to us. We will not have friends. The society will not accept us. This is what is the fear. No, we are not fearing for the failure, actually. We are fearing for what others will say about us. That attitude should be just eradicated from your mind. Feel proud to say that, yes, I have failed. And I'm going to be the best person in learning it because I failed. So that should be your attitude. And lastly, it will give you an idea about how you can recover from your massive failure. When you fail, you now have an immediate plan of action. Definitely, you need to come out of it, isn't it? So when you start analyzing your failure, you will definitely have a different plan of action. Get back and don't give up. If you just give up after you fail, it will be harder to try again later. Definitely, if you give a gap, today you have failed, immediately start working on it. Don't feel that I need to relax, I need to watch TV, I need to understand what I've done. Don't give a gap at all. Immediately sit down and learn why you have failed. You will have lived with that sting for a while when you fail. And the memory of that pain will haunt your future efforts. Then doubt will creep in and take resistance in your brain. This is what we call it as the path of self-sabotage. All these things shown in the mind map happen in our mind. We feel low about ourselves. We feel that we are not able to do anything. We feel our inability. We start procrastination, and we look for perfection. We feel that failure is something which is permanent. A lot of things happens in our mind. Self-sabotage. This is what we all do. This refers to behaviors or thought patterns that hold you back and prevent you from doing what you want to do. Please come out of it. This is what is the ultimate mistake what we do in our life. When we fail, we fear for it. We don't even share to anybody. We fear to even try again. That is the biggest drawback in us. And we need to understand that this is something called as a self-sabotage. So we need to come out of it. If I had not followed my dad's words, if I had felt that I just can't stand in front of any audience anymore, I just can't feel ashamed of myself, I would not have become a speaker today. I would not have been improving myself today. It is my dad who has shown me a way to come out of failure. And you need to follow that in your life also, because public speaking is considered to be the most fearful job ever. Anything you say, any job can be done, but the maximum fear you get when you do a public speaking, they say it is more fearful than death. Even when you think of death, that is the maximum fear that gives to a person, but public speaking gives you more fear than death. So if you can overcome that fear, then you can do anything in this world. And identify your enemies. When you're afraid of failure, there are usually several habits and mindsets that take you there. Treat them like the enemies to your success. Negativity is never good at all when you are trying to get over your fear of failure. Please, if you really wanted to get off fear of failure, then stop negativity. Stop thinking negativity. A healthy dosage of pessimism isn't bad, but when it turns into a dark cloud of self-loathing, it does not do any good to you. Thinking negatively is a self-fulfilling prophecy. What is self-fulfilling prophecy? A prophecy that comes true because of the expectation that it will. If someone says to you that, no, you're not going to do at all, you're not going to clear your exams, you're not going to get a job, you're not going to do pass in your civil service, you're not going to become a doctor, you're not going to score in your NEET exam. Many people may give you many impressions and many things. Like they may say, even a news can say that this time they are not going to have more NEET scorers. So by hearing that, what happens is the person who is studying and preparing for NEET will reduce its preparation. So that is what is called as a self-fulfilling prophecy. And this is what is the cycle. So self-fulfilling prophecy holds that what a person believes about him or herself, or what others believe about them, will influence their performance. If some news says that the petrol shortage is going to be there, from Sunday onwards, you're not going to get any petrol. What will happen? Everybody will fill their tanks, and also they will have additional containers to fill their petrol so that it will be useful for them in the future. Because of that, there will be shortage. So that is what is called as a self-fulfilling prophecy. And if somebody says that you cannot, based on that, your efforts will also come down. And then because of your efforts coming down, you will not be able to succeed. So that should not happen in your life. The self-fulfilling prophecy can act positively or negatively, depending on whether your expectations are positive or negative. Are you going to think about how I can move from here? Or you're going to sit and say that I don't want to be stressed. I don't want to try this. I will not be able to succeed. If you're going to think negative, then you're not going to learn anything from your failures. So a surprising contributor to fear of failure is perfectionism. If you want everything to be perfect, it will always lead to failure. And the problem wasn't that you failed. The problem was you made the conditions of success impossible. Please make a note of it. It's not that you failed. That is not a problem at all. Because you failed, you fear for failure, you don't try anything new, and you don't try to come out of it, you don't find a solution, you don't focus on a solution. Finally, what happens? The conditions of success becomes impossible. And that is what we see in this iceberg. You can see that certain things are something which people cannot see, and certain things what people see. You just see a lot of people talking about success, and they don't tell about their failures. But the basement, if you see a construction, if you see a building, if the building is strong, the building is strong is depending upon the basement, how strong it has been constructed. So similarly, if your success is to be long living, and it has to be consistent, and if you are going to be successful forever, then you have to put in a permanent and a very strong basement, and the strong basement is made out of your failures. You need to undergo all those things, and only then you will learn. Then you need to sacrifice a lot. You need to be persistent. You need to continuously do and learn. You should not leave in the middle because you failed. So all these things only are going to make you successful. Then why people have fear for failure? You know, this person, again, I'm bringing Michael Jordan. No one talks about Michael Jordan failed to make his high school basketball team. Before becoming one of the greatest basketball players ever, he was rejected. You know, so many people were rejected in their career. When now you see them as a successful person, in their younger days, they have been rejected. All those people were rejected, but they all have in common the fact that they didn't let some failures get into the way of their success. As the iceberg model illustrates, it is often the glamorous side of success that anyone sees and not the harder parts. It is impossible, said the pride, and it's risky, said the experience, and it's pointless, said reason. But give it a try, whispered the heart. Listen to your heart. Listen to your heart. Give it a try. Try again, and again. Learn every time. Learn from all the time you fail. And you would have heard about this 10,000 hour rule. Malcolm Gladwell, he has popularized this mantra, that is 10,000 hour rule. If you practice for 10,000 hours, you will become an expert. So that is what was initially being believed. But the rule is often misunderstood and misapplied. It is not how many hours you practiced, because some will learn early and some will take time. So 10,000 hours is just an average. So it takes time for people, but in lesser hours also some people can become perfect. But it is not the time, the number of hours that matters. They concluded that the deliberate practice is necessary, but that is not sufficient. Rather than just counting the hours, it's how you practice that makes the largest difference. Some people learn and improve a lot faster than others. And the most important is how you design your practice and how you focused you stay during the practice are the two factors that significantly affect how quickly you learn. Every time you learn, we fail, you learn something, you're going to become a perfectionist quickly. But you keep practicing for 10,000 hours without correcting your mistakes, that is not going to give you perfection, or that is not going to give you success. So understand, it is not the number of hours you practice. Every time you fail, learn something new, why you have failed, identify. So that focus is what is required. And the responsiveness to the practice is one of the main attributes that influence whether someone has the potential to reach the world-class levels. And focus, this is another mantra which you need to learn. Focus like an owl to achieve your goals. Performing any activity with high quality requires full focus. You would have seen an owl hunting. It pinpoints its hearing to locate and tune it on its target continuously. 100% it will concentrate. It will just concentrate on listening to these sounds. If it does not let go of focus, if it does do that until they have a wriggling prey in their claws. I mean, they will keep doing this until they get a prey. So the tiniest of distractions could make them miss the opportunity. That night he will not have a food. So this is what is the focus you need to have. Only by being fully focused are they able to finish the demanding task of catching a mouse. Many of us are trying to be more productive by doing several tasks at a time. Several tasks, multitasking. Even now, I'm telling you for sure, people who are listening to my talk will be doing something parallelly. Maybe some people are cooking, some people are watching their mobile, chatting with somebody, posting something in the Facebook or checking the Instagram or watching TV. Many things may happen. So this multitasking is not going to give you perfect result at all. So focus. This is very, very essential. What is focus? Focus is the current direction and intensity of our attention and concentration. And to concentrate on one thing, you must by default and ignore everything else. This is what is my definition of focus. Focus is not only my ability to say yes to one, but also the discipline to say no to the other. If you wanted to focus, then you need to say yes to whatever you're going to focus on and say no to all other things. It does not require a permanent no to other things, but it does require a present one until you complete your task. So focus can be broken into two parts, attention and concentration. So some people may say that pay attention. So they're telling you where to focus. And when they say concentrate, they're telling you to increase the level of your focus. That is what is the two components which you need to remember. And other one is switching cost. You keep switching your task, multitasking. Multitasking forces your focus back and forth very quickly between one task and the other. The human brain struggles to transition from one job to the next. The multitasking demands that you pay mental price every time you interrupt one task and jump to the other. This mental price is called as switching cost. Some of the downsides, it takes longer time for you to complete. Even if you do it individually, you will finish it earlier. And you make more errors. And also they become complex and you fail. So that is what you need to understand, that focus on one thing at a time. Focus only on one thing. Suppose you imagine that there are n number of rabbits running around and I want you to catch the green color rabbit. So you need to focus on only the green color rabbit. The pink color rabbit will be running along your side. It may be very closer to you. That doesn't mean that you need to catch the pink color rabbit. You need to focus on one thing, whatever you wanted. If there are a number of rabbits running around and you want to catch one, focus only on one. If you try to catch them all, you may end up with none. If the rabbit you are chasing proves elusive, if you feel that the rabbit is running here and there and you are unable to catch, I will tell you one solution for this. Change the path, change the tactics, but don't change the rabbit. If you have a goal, never change your goal. If you go in this direction and you are unable to achieve that goal, change your direction. That is going to give you a lot of opportunities. You may say a lot of opportunities, but you need to grab one at a time, not everything at a time. And you need to set a clear goal. Goal setting is very, very essential. Next, taking risk. The real reason most people will never become a master at any skill is that they won't take risk. They won't leave from their comfort zone. You have to come out of your comfort zone. If you want to become great at something, you have to put yourself out there. You may fail there. Doesn't matter, because success comes only after your failure. Find your motivation. Getting good at something takes time and effort. You might also experience some setbacks along the way. That is why it's crucial that you find your motivation. What you like, what is a passion? What is that motivates you to do that work? Take that work. Take that as fix it as a goal. And it helps you to get through all the difficulties. And you should also know to measure your progress. Every day you need to improve. How will you know your progress? You need to measure your progress. Only then you will be knowing that you are not wasting your time and you're traveling in the right direction. Learn from the winners. Don't waste your time with trial and error. Instead, find out what winners do. Find out from the failure stories of the winners. I rather say that how they failed, how they overcome the failure. And very important mantra is practice, practice, practice. It's not enough just to know what to do. You must also apply it. It's not that what you learn in your theory classes in your college. You need to apply it. You need to apply in the real life. Only then you will know the difficulties. Theory will not tell each and everything. Practice gives you all the experience. To get good at something, you must take risk. Not taking risk is being uncomfortable, means not at all growing. You're not growing because you're not coming out of your comfort zone. So good to great. If you want to move from good to great, then you have to learn from your mistakes and aren't afraid to make mistakes. First of all, don't get afraid to make mistakes. Let it happen, then learn from it. That is what is the attitude, and be deliberate. If you're going to do something, you want to do it well, but all of us only have so much time to devote in practicing. The key is to practice in a deliberate way. Not to be afraid to take a risk or make mistakes and to seek out feedback. Practice, practice, practice. How many of you know this man, Bruce Lee? There was one interview with Bruce Lee. They asked him, do you fear for a man who has practiced 10,000 kicks? He said, like, no, I don't bother if somebody has practiced 10,000 kicks, but I fear for the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. That is what is the attitude. Practice. Practice. That means the right practice makes a man perfect. So you need to put yourself into the right direction, learn from the failure and correct your mistakes. So what does someone who has a healthy relationship with failure look like? Surprisingly, the same things that give successful people their glow. Same way. So if you have a healthy relationship with the failure, then you will look like a successful person because you are confident, yes, I'm going to win. So you will find them hard at work and taking action. Your mantra of someone unafraid of failure is one experiment. As I said, practice. One experiment is worth 1,000 theories. So it is not how much theory you learn. Thomas Edison, you know how many times he failed. And you know, he said, it is not a failure. I learned how I should not do. So genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. Once you have reframed your fear as an invaluable learning tool, there is nothing that can stop you. Nobody can stop you. And I'll tell you about the winner's mindset. That is my favorite hero, that is Karoli Takacs. Karoli, he was a sergeant in Hungarian army. In 1938, the 28-year-old was the country's top pistol shooter. He has won most major national and international shooter, and having won most major championships, he wanted to participate and get gold medal in the Tokyo Olympic Games. That is in 1940. Then the disaster struck. At the army training session, what happened is a hand grenade accidentally exploded in Karoli's hand and his right hand blew away. The right shooting hand blew away. Not only in the Olympic, anywhere, he just can't participate in any game. He lost his right hand. He lost his shooting hand. He had the mental strength, the mindset of a winner, the determination to succeed. And yes, he had the left hand, the healthy left hand. What he did, he started training his left hand. He began practicing to shoot with the left hand. 1 year later, Karoli resurfaced at the national shooting and championships in Hungary. Karoli won the championship with his left hand. In 1948 Olympics, he won the gold in the pistol shooting with his left hand. My dear ladies and gentlemen, we all have moments in our lives when we seem so close to glory, but suddenly lose everything. Many of us. This is what is the winner's mindset. Focus on what you still have. You have several gifts given by the Almighty. Focus on what you have. Don't compare yourself with anybody. You can be a winner. You can succeed. Focus on what you have. Don't divert, distract, or demotivated with what you don't have. Why me? Many of you might have asked, why God has selected me? Only I'm suffering. Don't think like that. Relax and focus on what you still have. Just break down all the imaginary ropes. We are tying ourselves with the imaginary ropes of doubt, fear, and hesitation. Just come out of it. That is what is holding us back. Imaginary ropes. Just cut everything, untie them, and expedite your journey. You're going to be successful. You're going to travel and you're going to learn from failures and you're going to reach success. So, how to overcome failure at work and in life? So, the fear of failure is perhaps the strongest force holding people below their potential, actually. In a world which is full of uncertainty, countless misfortunes could occur to anybody. Thus, it is obvious to see why many people are afraid of being fail. I'm going to give you 24 tips which is going to help you to come out of your failure. First one is identify the causes. We need to identify where the failure has originated. That is what is called as critical thinking. Write down in a paper, you started some venture, where it started, why it started, where it ended, why it ended, why you have got the hindrance, what is that is hindering you. And sit down, breathe deeply, and try to figure out why the fear of failure has formed. The reasons may be, several reasons may be there. Unless you know the reasons, you will not be able to find a solution for that. And simplify it. Complex is hard to visualize. If you just put your problems as a complex bundle, you will not be able to visualize. Everything seems to be hopeless and not worth trying, just as you do not know how. In that case, the thing you should do is find out the passion. Find out your passion and boldly go where you have never come before. You need to simplify things and you should not make it complex. And consider the cost of missed chances. How many of us have missed how many chances? Tell me. In the class, if the teacher calls you and asks you to say something, come out and speak in front of the audience or something like that, nobody will come out. Everybody will look at the next person who is sitting. That is the opportunity you're missing. Like that, so many opportunities you've been missing in the life. Perhaps the biggest risk that a lot of people fail to consider is the advantages of their missed opportunities. Because they're all the trial opportunities. You would have tried there. Taking high risk or high reward opportunities is necessary as they offer the biggest benefit. The problem here is that if you do not take risk, then you cannot find out any opportunities. Even you could not exploit your potential. You do not know what you're talented at. Though you could live quiet and reasonably peaceful life, you're unlikely to do something new. You just can't do something new at all because you have missed the opportunities. You have not tried it earlier. So don't miss any opportunity and know that the failure is inevitable. Let's be a real hero. In fact, no one passes through their life without difficulties. Let's face it. Failure is something that is inevitable once you wish to live a remarkable life. Of course, everyone always wants to live a life that is full of meaningful passion and purpose. Sooner or later, you will have to overcome the fear of failure. And you need to overcome many other fears during your lifetime. Whenever you fail, just bring a smile in your face. I do that only. Bring a smile in your face. That gives you a lot of beautiful hormones secreting inside your body and get motivated. Sometimes it might be overwhelming and exhausting when you fail. I do agree. However, the more you move through the difficulties, the faster you will grow. That is what is the mantra, and research your alternatives. Don't think that that is the only way you can do anything. You need to think of as many potential consequences as possible. So you need to, this helps you aware of all the difficulties because you try different things, you will know what are all the different ways. And also prepare at least one alternative when the initial plan does not work. You need to have different plans when you're working because there are so many alphabets in our English and it's not plan A, plan B. If not plan B, plan C. Think of different things. Open up your mind, have a creative thinking and find out how you can win. Don't close with plan A alone. And do not take failure personally. This is one thing which you have to take it. Normally, failure is about the behavior, outcomes, and results. It is not a personality characteristics actually. Though what you do might not give you your desired results. It does not mean that you're a failure. If you make mistake, it does not mean that you will fail. And do things differently. This is one thing which I like and love and I do. In case that they are doing something which is not working, then you should do something else. Some people they say actually, like, if you just do what you have been doing, you will get what you have got. If you're going to try something in this way only, then the results also will be in this way only. If you've failed once, then every time you're going to fail. So you need to change, you need to modify the way you're trying. So do things differently and treat failure as a lesson. I keep on telling you that some lessons are very costly. Of course, I understand, I believe that, because we have missed those opportunity to learn. So sometimes it comes as a big lesson with a very costly lesson also. So just think of failure as an experience of learning. What did you learn from the experience that will assist you in the future? So that is very, very important. And you need to ask these questions. What was my mistake? Why did it happen? How could you prevent it? And how could you be better next time? These questions should be asked whenever you fail. Then use what you have learned from the experience to do things differently. So you will get different results. So thinking differently will always give you different results. Definitely, that is the reason we used to have a brainstorming session with our people, because everyone will think in a different way. So a team effort is something like listen from everybody, everybody's perspective, everybody's way of thinking. That is going to give you a lot of positive possible solutions. And a person interested in success has to learn to view failure as a healthy, inevitable part of the process of getting to the top. You need to learn and view failure as an opportunity. And failure is an opportunity to begin again more intelligently. Please understand, please believe me. When you understand something from the failure, yes, I have done this mistake, then you're becoming more intelligent, because you're getting something, you're learning something. When you learn something, you call yourself as intelligent. So, and make a step-by-step plan. So this is very, very important. You just have to plan everything. Without planning, if you do, a lot of mistakes will come. So when you need to do this, prepare carefully. Put down in your paper, you just understand where you may have difficulty. So there itself, try to find, evaluate and find a solution, how to overcome the difficulty. The more detailed your plan is, the easier your success will come. Small things also, you make a plan. Have a plan A and plan B also. And take action. It's time for action. So the best way to eliminate fear of failure is to take action, as practice makes perfect. Immediately, if you're not getting something, if you're not able to understand computer science, data structures, or artificial intelligence, or whatever it may be, if you're doing something, you're learning violin, you're learning music, or you're learning something, driving car, or you wanted to do something like reducing your weight, whatever it is, you just have to find out where you're doing the mistake, understand, then practice more on that particular part. So that action has to be taken. If you dare not do anything, you will never know how to do it right. And until you learn from the failure, you will not know how to do that. The path of success is to take a massive determination, actually, and shift your perspective. This is very, very important. Shifting your perspective. Fail more to succeed more. Failure itself is not a bad thing. So that perspective, the way you look at the failure should change. And balance your life. Balance your life. Bring your life into balance. You need to understand how you need to balance your life. That's why I said, understand the components of life, first of all. It is not your profession alone is life, or your personal alone is life. You need to give at least 60% to professional life and 40% to your personal life. Only then we call it as a balanced life. And spending time doing hobbies to refresh your body, your mind, this is very, very essential, which will take you closer to success. And never get into so busy. Never get into so busy making a living that you forget to make a life. So it is not the standard of life. You need to understand that you need to improve the standard of living. A lot of things, what you like, your passion, you want to dance, you want to sing, you like to meet friends, you like drawing, you like photography, do that. It's not only job or only exams or only studying that is life. You have your personal life too. You need to have a lot of memories. So finding balance. Without balance, a life is no longer worth the effort. And believe in yourself. This is very, very essential. First, you believe in yourself. You believe in your abilities. And set realistic expectations. This is another mistake people always do. You cannot climb all the 100 steps on one day. Your goal may be the 100th step, but the first day you cannot keep your foot on the 100th step. You have to go step by step. So first step is always difficult. First step is always difficult, and it is difficult. And that is why everybody, many of them will come back, stop trying in the first step itself. When you go for a gym, you want to reduce your weight. First 1 week, you go with full swing, but you can feel the pain in your body. Then immediately you will feel that, no, I just can't continue this. That 1 week will be difficult. Then later, the next day of your 1 week, it will start becoming easier because your body will be accustomed to that. But we don't have the patience. We'll just stop. That is where we make a mistake. We stop, we take first step, and we don't even take first step. We find it very difficult, and we stop proceeding further and learn from others. This is very, very essential. There's nothing wrong in learning from others because they have tried and they have failed and they know the mantra of success. So talk to them. Learning is a gift. Even pain is your teacher, doesn't matter. Learn. Learning is very essential, and stop trying too hard. Because you need to make your life also smooth. You cannot do. Most successful people will admit to having gone through a lot of failures before achieving their current success. The key for you to be successful like them is to learn from their experience and reflect, and also see that you don't go beyond unreasonable type of trying. Don't do slowly, because when you go for an unreasonable try, and you will torture yourself and you will get exhausted, and that will make you discouraged. That will discourage you, because when you can't achieve something, immediately will get discouraged. So start with small things. If you want to run 10 miles a day, very first day, you cannot run 10 miles. You have to start with what is possible. Little, you should increase. Only then you will be able to succeed. And then ask for help. Don't hesitate. Don't be afraid. People are there to help you. And find out the benefits of failure. Anything has its pros and cons. When you think you are at a risk of failure, think positive to find out benefits of failure for you. And failure is temporary. I keep telling you that this is one thing which you need to keep in mind. Failure is just an event, not a person. So don't worry. Today, if you fail, doesn't mean that you will fail forever. And you have to free your mind. This is very, very important, because you have known that failure is temporary. And so let your mind free to get rid of your fear and low confidence. That low confidence has to be eradicated from your mind. And there is variety of ways that allow you to free your mind and empower your mind. Meditate. Talk to positive people. Do yoga. First, if your body and soul, your mind is good, fresh, inhale a lot of oxygen. Allow your brain to think. Give a lot of oxygen content to your brain. Walk, go for a walk, go for a skipping, jump around, go to park, look at green leaves. All these things will change your attitude and follow your passion. Do what you like. Do what you like. Failure is only a step of a process. If you fail at that step, do it again until it is done. Nothing is impossible if you have a strong passion. If you want to achieve something, you have that passion, you will be able to do. And embrace fear. The fear of failure can be shown on your face. You can't lie to yourself. Instead, think that the fear is a stranger, and you just learn to make friend with him and overcome some distance to be closer. If you meet a stranger, you start with small talks, and then slowly you will come closer. The sooner you're closer to him, the faster you will be friendly with him, and it will keep your relationship go on track. And imagine your future. You need to attempt difficulties in your life to see your courage. When you take up a challenge, it means that you're training yourself to have self-confidence and self-esteem. Yes, you're born to win. Imagine your future. Yes, I'm going to make it perfect. I'm going to make it how I want it. I have the courage. I have the potential. Motivate yourself and stay in the present. Stay in the present. You can just see that you have mind full of worries and the other person has been mindful. Learn to be the present and enjoy the moment. That's very important. And you all know about this great man, Thomas Alva Edison. Once his office, those days, he was not having soft copies. All his experiments, all his theories, all his formulas, everything was there in his factory and it caught fire. Everything is burnt. He tried his best to save everything, but he could not. He just stood there and called his son Charles and said, "Call your mother. Ask her to see this spectacular fire. She will not be able to see in her lifetime." The son was so scared that father has gone mad or what. Then the next day, the paper persons came and interviewed with Thomas Alva Edison. He said, "I'm just 67. And of course, I lost everything. And I tried to recover. I could not. But doesn't matter. Let me wait for the heat to subside, that fire heat to subside. Then I will start my work." Immediately, he started his work and he had his new office renovated and all his theories, everything is his hard work. He again started over again. Just imagine us. Can we do that with that attitude? Just because he had that attitude, he was successful. And great people, they don't cry, they try. And great people, they don't give up, they live up. And they just don't go through the difficulties, they grow through the difficulties. Whenever there is a difficulty, whenever there is a problem, whenever there is a challenge, they grow in that. They learn and they grow. That is what great people do. And no challenges, no success. If you feel that I should not have any problem in my life, I should not have any challenge in my life, then you will not be able to know your success. But if you know your challenges, you can know your success. And you need to be consistent. This is what is the mantra. You need to be consistent. Keep doing. Try again and again. Perseverance should be there. And run with your mind and not with your legs. This is another thing which you need to understand. Success in life is not defined by talent and physical ability, but the mental strength to stay the course and run that extra mile. When you run with your legs, you allow the pressures to weigh down. You allow your obstacles to come in the way of your progress. Run with your mind, not with your legs. The mental strength will take you longer distance towards success. You need to be having that courage. You will find yourself saying, "I can't. Physically, I can't. I just can't do that." But when you run with your mind, you become unstoppable. Your mind will say, "I can. Yes, I can." So that is what is the mantra you need to learn. And you need to focus on 1% improvement for the day. Every day, learn something. Improve yourself. Analyze your failures. List down. Learn something. Improve yourself. One day, if you just turn back and see how, you will know how far you have come. 1% improvement every day. And final thoughts, things I would like to say to myself, past self. That is, you can accomplish your wildest dreams. I am proud of you. Tell to my own self, you will always be a part of you. I love you. Your voice matters. You have so much to be grateful for. You're worth so much. Tell to yourself, yes, I love myself. I'm so much worthy. I have so much resources. I've been blessed. I'm the happiest person in the world. You should keep telling yourself. And who to ignore? People who like to hate. People who use you. People who talk a lot. And who you should get connected with? Successful and ambitious people. People who support you. People who are fearless. Get connected to them. And get the process right. The goal will take care of itself. You need to just concentrate on the process. Just concentrate on the process. Automatically your goal will be taken care of. Your mind is a magnet. If you think in problems, you will attract problems. If you think in solutions, you will attract solutions. Cultivate good thoughts. Remain positive and optimistic. We get what we think. So think positive. Happiness is just a state of mind. It all depends upon how you look at things. Success demands only 6 things: hard work, sacrifice, struggle, faith, passion, and patience. And I don't fix problems, I fix my thinking. Then problems fix themselves. This is what is the ultimate takeaway for you. Don't try to fix problems. Fix your thinking, fix the way you look at things, fix your attitude, fix the way you look at the failure. You don't have to fear for failure. Love to face failure. And don't pin your self-worth to your failures. You are much more than the sum of your accomplishments. Our ability to handle life's challenges is a measure of our strength of character. Failure is not final, it's not real unless you make it real. The one reality is how you respond, whether it makes you better or bitter. Learn from your mistakes, make a commitment to change, then move on. Many of us eliminate possibilities for ourselves by giving up too early in the fight. We are not trying to fight at all, we just give up. If you knock on the door of opportunity long enough and hard enough, somebody is going to answer. Keep knocking. Keep knocking. You begin to grow when you achieve self-awareness by asking who you are and establishing what your frame of reference is for looking at the world. Beliefs are acted out by observing how a person spends time, energy, and money. You can learn a great deal. So keep an eye, keep a watch of your time, how you're spending, whom you're with, what activity you do, what you think. All these things matter. No defeat is permanent. Defeat will stay with you only if you hang on to it. Take my words. I am the living example for you. You feel the way you feel because of the thoughts you are thinking. We cannot always control the thoughts that come in your minds, but we can control the thoughts what we dwell on. All great achievements are preceded by many failures. Failure is part of the process of success. There will come a time in your life when you will have more yesterdays than tomorrows. Believe in the power of it. Believe in the power of it. Today I'm not able to do. I'm not able to do it. Add yet to everything that you cannot do. That is only for this moment. The very next moment you will be able to do and succeed and get to 1 degree more habit. Put in that extra effort to succeed. And whenever somebody win or somebody lose, the only difference is we all plan, we all decide, we all think. After this webinar, you would have made a lot of notes, you would have decided that I need to do it, but who will win? Who will overcome the fear of failure? The one who is going to implement. The one who is going to implement is only going to succeed. So let your personality shine through. Thank you so much. And this is my YouTube channel, and this is my number and my email ID. You can see a lot of videos, motivational talks, and a lot of technical events also for your benefit. And any questions, please do share.
Thank you, ma'am. It was a really inspiring speech.
Thank you. Any questions? How many of you now got an attitude that you will not have fear anymore? Ananya, what about you?
Ma'am, actually, I'm really afraid of public speaking. It's only now that I'm really speaking on platforms. I really have a wish to, sort of speak in front of public, have that confidence, inspire people, and, kind of inspire myself as well. But the thing is that I really fear like making mistakes or, sometimes like saying something grammatically wrong or something that I don't mean. Like what happens more often than not is we mean something, but the way we say it just comes off in another way. And everybody has different perspectives and we don't know how they understand it. So yeah, that really keeps me off from like going on a big stage. But then after listening to you and, when you told how you feared like public speaking and how you overcame it, I think that story really inspired me. That also reminded me of my graduation when I had to give speech and how I was getting really scared. So yeah, that was really inspiring.
Good, good, good.
I
Right.
also had another question for you
Yes.
about plan A and plan B. So I would doubt that more often than not, like sometimes we keep plan B because we fail in plan A, then we can go to plan B, and because of that result, we don't even like try to achieve plan A like more often than not because we feel like okay, we anyways have a backup, so it's okay. Like how do we think about that?
Who thinks about that? I mean, that you have plan B, so even if plan A doesn't work, it is you or
Like that's
someone?
it's like a general thought like in most of the engineers because most of them don't choose engineering by their choice.
No,
Like
see, that is again our own mistake only. It is we who are thinking like that.
yeah,
So you cannot blame anybody. You need to change your way of thinking.
yeah,
So it's all in your mind. How you think, how you value certain things, how you give importance, how you prioritize. Everything is from you only. There is no point where we blame anybody for any of our plus or minus. It's all we who have to take the responsibility.
yes, ma'am.
There's no question from audience.
Yeah. Audience, participants can pose the questions, or you can unmute and ask the questions directly.
Thank you, Aditi, Harish.
Yeah,
Thank you,
yeah,
Priya.
yeah.
Thank you, Mallikarjun.
Yeah, madam, this is Annapurna Patel. Yeah, from MSMI Institute of Technology. Excellent talk. No doubt I joined a little late. I was very happy. So in today's world, we hardly see some woman role models. Okay, so I'm very thankful to having listened to you at least for some time, and I'm sure my students would have benefited to the maximum. Thank you for your time, and I
Thank
thank
you.
Ravi also for inviting you. It's a pleasure being in touch with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. God bless.
Yeah, participants, any other questions? Huh. I would like to ask a question. So I just want to, tell, do we need to sort of train ourselves from our, because it's more of the participants are on the college-based students, from the young age itself to train the way in which we are made to think or made to work around, whether that will make a difference. See, ultimately, the brain is getting trained. We are conditioning our brain to work the particular way.
Yeah. It starts from parenting, Prabha, actually. The parents, whenever they say, like, if the child has failed, they say that you're good for nothing, you will not be able to achieve anything in your life. Such negative talks only make the child feel that if they fail, then the world will not accept them. So that is the starting point. And then when they come to school, when they go and take the report card, the teachers talk only about marks. But the child also feel like, okay, if I don't score, then I'm unfit. I will not be able to have a better life. I will not be able to have a better career. So it all starts from parenting and also in the school, the teachers when they talk, because from the beginning, the child will have in their mind all this fear. What we have right now is because of our younger age. The impact what has been created in our mind that if you fail, you're unfit. That is why we fear, and we always live like, even parents may say, like, if you don't score well in your 10th standard or 12th standard, how can I face my neighbor, how can I face my office colleagues? So that sort of input is given to the child mind that if I don't perform well, it is a shame. So these are all, if a parent is there, somebody who can motivate the child, saying that, no, don't worry, even if you fail, we can overcome that. And if the parents are there during the process with the child, then they don't have to blame the child for the failure. And they should tell them like how they should learn from the failure. So all these things start from the younger age. And a good parent should actually start this as a habit, like not to put negativity into the child that if they fail, they're unfit to live, because the resilience is something which is very essential right now. Even the smallest failure, the child is unable to withstand. So a lot of things we all have undergone in our life, but the younger generation, even the smallest thing, if they propose to somebody and the other person doesn't accept a proposal, also immediately they will commit suicide. So that sort of attitude should change, and I insist on good parenting where they encourage the children to face failures, and also as teachers, it's our responsibility to pat their back and make them, allow them to show them a path, like how they can learn from failure.
Yeah. Thank you, Usha. You can. Yeah, talk. I have a question, madam.
Yes, please.
My son studies well, but he also plays a mobile game till midnight. So how to overcome this problem?
Okay, so straight away, if you go and tell the child what he or she is doing is wrong, they will do it more. That is the attitude of the children, and maybe somewhere it would have started at your point of time, like you would have been using the mobile in the night, or your wife or somebody in the house would have had the habit of using the mobile in the night times or for a longer time. That is why the child has also picked up the habit. So you have to bring some rule in the house, some strict rule in the house, that you can allow anybody using the gadgets only at the prescribed time. So many people, like they don't allow mobile phones in the bedroom. First of all, they have a strict rule in the house that mobile phones should not be brought into the bedrooms, and also they don't use it while eating. So certain rules have to be formed in the house, and you should first follow. As parents, we should strictly follow, and slowly the child also will start understanding, okay, this is what is a strict rule and I have to do this. So we have to first do and make the children follow us, because somewhere we have made a mistake and then the child has got into this habit. We only purchased the mobile for them, and we only taught them to use, and now they are using beyond a limit, and we are unable to control that. So let us be an example, put a strict rule in the house, and you start following it, and make the child also follow. When the child follows, start appreciating the child for that. So the child will feel good. Instead of always scolding the child, instead of talking in that way, like don't use mobile, you say that can we have some strict rules framed? You make the child only to make the rules. You just give some inputs. Shall we fix some timing when we can use this gadgets? It will be applied for everybody in the house. Like that, you have to create some ambience where the child will feel that you're all with the child. You are not punishing the child by not allowing the child to use the mobile. So that is how I do. And I also insist people on parenting workshops. I give that as a suggestion.
Thank you.
Ma'am, I had a doubt, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, so then you know you've not done anything wrong, but you're always having to have, like, you have to face the blame. So how do you cope with that? Like you're sure you have not done anything wrong, and the blame, like you always have to face the blame, and like at least 75% of the time. So how do we cope with that or go about?
Is it personal or professional?
Ma'am, personal, ma'am.
Oh, at home, even if you are not doing something wrong, people blame you.
Yes, ma'am.
You start accepting that. No, see, one point of time you have to stand and you have to say it loud. Unless or otherwise you show some resistance, people will keep blaming, putting the blame on you. You have to stand and say, like, you just justify me why you are blaming me. Ask them to give a justification. I do that because, see, whenever you accept something, people will try to take you for granted. So somewhere you stand and then turn back and say that, no, I'm not like that. You can't take me for granted. You have to make that very clear. You don't have to fight with them. You can make this point very clear by asking for justification.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Any other questions from the participants?
how to overcome worrying in case if we fail, how to overcome guilt of failure at heart. The guilt should come only if you don't learn from failure. For whom you are living? I don't understand. If you fail something and if you want to convince somebody in your life forever, then you are not living your life. If you fail in something and if you feel guilt that you have failed, I feel you should feel guilt only when you don't learn something from that failure, not because somebody will blame you or you need to satisfy somebody. Because of that, if you are getting that guilt, I think you are living your life for somebody else. If you are living your life, you are venturing something and you are facing a failure, then next time learn from that failure why you have failed, and then don't repeat that again in the next time when you're trying. That is how your attitude should be. The guilt feeling should come only when you don't learn from the failure, not for failing. You cannot learn cycle without falling. Everybody would have fallen when we learn cycle, but we learn how we should balance. So that learning is what is important there, not the failing. If you fail, you are going to learn. So you appreciate that you have failed. Yes, I failed because I've learned better. So don't try to convince somebody and don't have to feel guilty because you're undergoing a failure. Feel guilty if you don't learn from the failure.
Ultimately, I think we need to have a positive attitude, taking that, I do my best, I take it whatever it comes along the path.
Yeah, you need to first of all
do something to fail. Yeah.
You need to be yourself first of all. Don't have to leave for someone else.
Yeah.
Just because somebody will feel bad, you cannot sacrifice everything of yours, right? Because they are not going to do anything for you.
Yeah, participants.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yes, please.
I wanted to ask you, like, when do we know, like, if we're taking a wrong approach? Like, we might decide, okay, we want to go in this path and this is our passion. And we are so focused on the passion that we don't see the path we are taking. Like, we're only, more often than not, we're focused on the result and we forget, like, we don't, like, we kind of not concentrate on the process and its setbacks while making decisions. Like, how do we know we're taking the wrong approach?
See, depends upon the age. If you are a student, then you need to have a mentor with whom you can talk, discuss, write down the plan of action and different consequences if you take in different paths. So you need to do a research, and for which you need to have a matured, positive mentor who will be able to give you the right path. Because a person who decides to become a doctor, why they go into doctor? I know a person because I do career guidance, personalized career guidance with a psychometric test. So before a psychometric test, the girl took MBBS because she scores very well in biology. So the relatives and everybody told, you are very good in biology, you need to write NEET and you need to become a doctor. The girl wrote NEET and she got very good score and she joined in a medical college. Her culture or her background is she is a Jain girl. They don't have the family, they don't have the habit of even eating onions and garlic, like they're staunch vegetarians. And she can't do any anatomy class. She can't see blood. She couldn't do anything what she's supposed to do in the MBBS classes. So then she came back and she said, I wanted to come out. Show me a path which will be better. Fine. So in that time, so you need to analyze, not just with marks you decide a path. You need to completely analyze that career, whether it will suit you or not. Your attitude, the requirement of the career, that should match. You should be happy doing that work. Just because you get marks, you cannot go into that path. So then I took a psychometric assessment and know about her research abilities, and then guided her for research. So she can very well sit and do research because of her knowledge, and she don't have to see all those body, blood, and other anatomy things. And she's now very happy. So this is how you need to go to a mentor who will really get out of your strengths, how you are, what type of person you are, whether you are an outgoing person, whether you talk to people or very reserved. You're a person who has patience to sit for a long time and work. A lot of things are there when you decide a career path, because career is something which is not only to earn money, it should also give you life. That is what is your life. So career is earning, starts right from learning and earning is what is career. So you need to take up the right path based on your attitude, your abilities. You're unique. Believe that you are unique. So what are the unique qualities which will match with the exact career? So that way you need to consult somebody who can match with it. Like you need to match to design a path.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. It gave a clear description for me. Like now I know what to do.
Yeah. First of all, you should understand the nature of work. It's not only doctor means white and white. They have a clinic. They make a lot of money. Only this is what we see from outside. You just go and see their life. What do they do 24 hours? Like that, for every profession, you need to do an extensive research.
Yes, ma'am. Like it'll help, as you said, it'll help us know what is our strengths and where we lack the things, so we can develop on that.
No, don't worry about where you lack. Identify where you are good at.
Okay.
Because see, as I said, you are unique. You have been born in this world as a unique person. You have been born with some capabilities and abilities. Now you are again focusing on what you don't have. Instead, focus on what you have and see what best you can do with that. Because whatever best you have, that carries 90 to 100% mark. And what you don't have carries mark from 20 to 50%. So when you're trying to improve what you don't have, you can go up to 50% to 60%. You cannot reach 100. Whereas whatever good you have, if you try to improve, from 90, you can go to 100.
Yes, ma'am.
So you need
True.
to focus on what is good at you. See, if Rahman wanted to play cricket or he wanted to become an engineer, he could not have done that because he is good in music. And if parents forced him to study and all, no, he would have done only average. So he had identified his knowledge on music and he had taken his path exactly what will suit him. He's good at it. He's happy doing that, isn't it? So now he has reached 100%. That the entire world is appreciating, accepting him. So that is how your career should be.
Yes, ma'am.
There are two questions posted in the chat box, Usha.
Yeah.
One, Chetan Reddy has asked, ma'am, when I'm studying or solving problems, I have guilt that I took too much time to think and waste my time. Others are studying or solving problems faster than me. I'm slow and I can't able to finish. How to overcome this?
Chetan, first of all, stop comparing yourself with anyone, Chetan. Just if you are slow, then you identify where you are losing time, where you are wasting time. Maybe you are not good in formulas, you are not remembering formulas, or daydreaming in between your daydreaming, or you're busy with your mobile. See, you have to find out the time wasters, like where you are wasting time, whether it is technically you are wasting time or non-technically you are wasting time. So list down all those things and one by one start addressing them. But don't compare yourself with others. You may be slow, but you may be perfect. So that you need to identify. Don't compare only one aspect with others. I feel don't compare at all. If you feel you're slow, identify why you're slow. List down what are all the parameters which is making you to be slow. Maybe you're unable to recall certain things. Then you need to make sure that you are able to put it in your subconscious mind so that you can pick up immediately. Your way of learning should change in that case. So you first of all you identify why you're slow. Then one by one you address.
There's one question, last question there. Dipesh is asking, my English communication is not that good. whenever start to speak, people start to laugh in my mistake, and it makes me feel a bad person to handle the situation.
Okay, the Deeptesh, like today I can talk for 24 hours or 48 hours continuously in both my mother tongue and in English. And till my third year of engineering, I was not good in talking to people at all. I had a neighbor who was an Iranian. She was doing BDS, my same house we lived in. It's a partition house. And because of her, I was forced to learn English because she can't understand our language. So that is how I learned and picked up and then practiced. So nothing is difficult in this world. When at that age, when I can do, and you can also do. So you need to listen, you need to improve your vocabulary, create opportunities to talk. Don't worry if somebody is laughing at them. Laugh. You're making somebody's life longer. That's all, by making them laugh. So don't worry about what others feel. Think about your improvement. Try different ways of improving your vocabulary. Listen to a lot of news channels, and then start reading English newspapers where you can pick up a lot of vocabulary. You don't have to search for vocabulary. And for grammatical mistakes, of course, you can learn if you really feel that you need to learn. If you're so bad, that is also solvable only. It is not difficult. But practice makes you perfect. But don't worry that somebody is going to comment on you.
Thank you so much for your wonderful motivational talk. It was a wonderful, when the time just went, okay? It was very, very, informative, or, motivation for the students.
That is the last question.
Yeah.
This is very important question actually. How are you supposed to know what we are
good at? Oh, okay. Oh.
See, if you are blessed with that particular quality, then you will be able to do that effortlessly. This is what is the mantra or the formula to understand. Suppose you are good in singing, you will just like that sing without putting any effort, any practice. If you are good in tabla or doing some music on the table, you will automatically, you have that music sense. It comes naturally without putting any effort. So that is one way. If you can't identify, the other person who is looking at you, maybe your friends or the parents may tell, you're very good in convincing people. People will tell you. If you're very good in organizing meetings, and many things, you are very good in drafting, you are very good in speaking, you are very good in memorizing. So many things are there. You may not be able to understand. The person who is looking at you, who are well-wishers, they will tell you what comes spontaneously for you, what comes without any effort. So there you need to concentrate more and see that how you can improve on those abilities. And if it is career-wise, we do a psychometric analysis for career guidance. To know how you will be in the career. So you can go to such people and know about your psychometric result. There all your strengths, ability, everything will be extracted. We do something which is 95 to 100% perfect for a person. So that is one way to understand your abilities. How to focus and concentrate. I said no, say yes to one thing and have a discipline to say no to the other. So if you want to write a maths exam or a computer science exam or something today, then your focus has to be that only. If somebody calls you on phone or calls you on mobile or calls you out for a party, say no to them. And then you just focus only on what is important to you. Don't get diverted. So that is what is the ultimate aim, and that mantra for focus. And how frequently or how much you focus is what is concentration.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Anyone else from the participants?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Yeah.
How to practice?
Ma'am, I just want to ask you that, yeah, just like someone wants to focus on something, but your mischievous mind doesn't cooperating with you. How to get that controller of your mind to your hands? Like,
Okay, what is your name?
But I know that it's long. It's gonna be against you. But I used to forget in just 30-35 minutes, and that's it.
What's your name?
My name is Aditya, ma'am. Aditya.
Aditya. See, first of all, if you want something, okay, suppose you have some film getting released in your city, okay, somehow you want to see the first show of that movie. And in a non-COVID day, they are playing the first show at 6 o'clock. Okay, you are a person who gets up at 8 o'clock every day. But when it is at 6 o'clock, you want to see that movie, without keeping an alarm, you will be able to get up at 5 o'clock. That is because your mind is completely focused on watching that movie. Because you're passionate about watching that movie, you don't want to miss it at all. If you have the same passion on whatever you're telling, that means if your mischievous mind is distracting you, means you have not developed that passion yet. That is the reason, and you have not fixed your goal. If you have fixed your goal, and if you have a passion, desperate passion, nobody can distract you. I tell you, because you are not like this for everything. Certain things you are able to concentrate and focus. Certain things you are unable to focus and concentrate. The difference is you have to develop that passion, desperate passion. You want it at any cost. That much of passion, until it gets developed, you will have distractions.
Yes, ma'am. So, how to manage
Okay, give me one
how
example.
to develop that passion?
You tell me what is that? One example you tell me.
Like if I fix that I want to study like for 3 hours, okay. But I know that tomorrow is the exam and it's important, and I have a tension. Like then I go to my table and study like 30-35 minutes. Then I get many type of thoughts like, okay, like cricket, like for a walk, have a song like this. But I know that tomorrow exam and it's important also.
Yeah.
Many thoughts in one mind, like.
Actually, see, when you are studying for exam just one day before, definitely you will not be able to concentrate. That is why it starts with the 3 months or 4 months a semester. So you should have started your learning process well before your exams. That is first mistake. So if you have done that, and if you have understood the subject, see, last minute you cannot understand the subject. The fear will be there that you may fail, you may get questions which you have not prepared, you may get less marks. All these inputs you are giving to your mind, which will cause you stress and tension. You want your mind to be happy. That is why you are thinking about cricket and other things which will make your mind happy. You don't have to concentrate on something too much on something, because you are studying in the last moment. So to avoid all these things, you have to plan your studies or learning.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye, ma'am.
Beginning.
Yeah, okay, ma'am. Thanks for the guidance, ma'am.
Yeah. Anyone like, you just, I think Usha ma'am had shared her WhatsApp number. I think Usha may be flooded with chats. I don't know about the difficulties. Yeah. Let them post, and if they post to us also, no problem. We will see what to do, and we can send it to you.
Yeah, sure, anytime.
Thank you so much for your wonderful session, Usha. Oh, so many are coming. Can we share the today's recording link? Yes, of course we are recording. We will do something about it. We will share. Okay. It's in our IEEE banner only. Now it's for student benefit. So don't worry. Okay.
Thank you, Ananya. Thank you, Prabha. Thank you, all the organizers. Thank you, MSRIT, for giving me this opportunity. I'm also very happy. The last bit of question answer session I enjoyed.
Yes. Thank you so much. We will keep in touch.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
We will work on whatever we can do in the similar wavelength of interest, and see how we can contribute to the society and to the next generation, the youth. Thank you so much for your valuable time which you have spent with us.
Thank you so much.
Ma'am, we wish to have more such webinars from you in the future. It was
Yeah,
really
sure.
impactful.
Yeah, you can take public speaking webinar next. Many of them will get benefited because it's not only required to go on a stage and talk, but we will understand like how to talk. Communication is very essential to succeed in this world. So interpersonal skills, communication skill, and public speaking is a very important thing which people should learn.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we'll work it out. Not an issue.
As how my immense thanks goes to our speaker. My thanks also goes to the participants who had shown their interest to be a part of this webinar, had the staying power to stay throughout the session, ask questions, and make the sessions as interactive as possible. Thank you one and all for this wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you. Shall I leave?
Yeah.